Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here, welcome back to the channel for another update on GalaGames. So wow, things have really started to heat up in the last 3 days since our last TA video on Gala. We've broken to the downside of this major technical analysis pattern we've been detailing on the channel with price targets at new bear market lows, and the MACD on the weekly time frame is about to cross bearish for the first time ever. Let's talk about all of this and more. What is this going to mean for the price of GalaGames in the immediate short term? Let's find out in the chart. So starting off on our first chart, like we said, I'm going to make the MACD cross one pretty quick because it's very simple. Weekly MACD cross is very close to crossing bearish, and we're going to look at some different variations of the MACD later on in the video. Some of them probably are going to cross this week or next week. So that's all I want to touch on the MACD. We haven't really seen a MACD cross on the weekly time frame before for GalaGames, so this is going to be very interesting. Now, in terms of what's going on the technicals on the weekly time frame, as we've been discussing, we have been developing this massive M pattern with this price target all the way down at new bear market lows at 1.4 cent, just taking out the previous range lows. Now, I want to talk about a new technical we haven't looked at before on the channel, and this is looking at the liquidity swings on the Lux algo. This shows us where there's going to be trapped liquidity in the market, and as you can see on the weekly time frame, we have the most amount of liquidity right down here trapped at the previous lows. If we come over to the daily time frame, you can actually see that we do have some previous trapped liquidity up at these highs as well. However, you know, we had liquidity up at these levels around about 5 cent, as well. We came and took a lot of the liquidity in this market to the upside, and quite recently we've taken a little bit of this liquidity to the downside, but most of the liquidity is all right down here at new bear market lows. So obviously, if you're a market maker, where are you going to want to move the markets to? In an area where there's the most amount of liquidity. That makes the markets most profitable and tradable for yourselves. So this is definitely, in my opinion, where we're going to get magnetized to. Like we've also discussed, we are breaking to the downside of this massive M pattern, which has been developing since the start of the year. You can see this absolutely beautiful textbook TA pattern. Now, what we also did with this as well is while we were forming the right shoulder, we double topped on this previous area, which was support before. So we've talked about this fractal before. I'll just quickly dive into it for those of you who are new. What GalaGames has been doing is we've been making new bear market lows throughout the cycle. We've been bouncing up and making this same fractal again and again. We form lows, we make an M pattern, we break down from the lows, flip it as resistance, break down, make new lows. Then you can see from here, we make new bear market lows. What do? We create an M pattern, we break to the downside, we flip the previous support as resistance, and we come down and make new bear market lows. We make new bear market lows, we bounce back up, we make an M pattern breakdown, and then obviously this is the point where we come down, make new bear market lows, retest this previous support, flipped as resistance, and come down and make new bear market lows. So this fractal has been playing out with probably about a 95% correlation. The only real difference is this time is we actually reverted back up to the previous range lows and flipped these as resistance before moving back down lower. So this is what we're presented with right now. It's not looking too good for GalaGames. Of course, as we've been discussing, bull market support bands, EMA ribbons, all of the major moving averages, we're now trading beneath these. So on the channel, we've been giving GalaGames obviously a few chances in the bullish scenario. We've been talking about things like the last line in the sand being, you know, the bottom of this M pattern, and this is also a BART pattern. So if you do start breaking beneath this line, which we are right now, the reason I'm updating this today is because we've bounced back up to this previous support and flipped it as resistance today. This is also, like I said, looking like a major BART pattern with, of course, a price target coming right back down to the bear market lows at 1.5 cent. These were really your last lines in the sand. Now, of course, you can keep on drawing last lines in the sand, but they get weaker and weaker. If we come over to the volume profiles, we kind of discussed how this region right here, I mean, look how much liquidity there is in this cluster over here. There's a lot of liquidity right here, which is why we spent a lot of time trading here. As soon as we broke beneath 3.2 cent, that was pretty much one of your last macro lines in the sand. Of course, we've also got this M pattern breakdown at 3 cents. So between 3 and 3.2 cent, that was really your last line in the sand, and we're losing this at this moment in time. So if you start closing weekly candle bodies beneath 3 cent, it's pretty much curtains for GalaGames. You may be looking at something like this. You may be saying, hey, what if we draw our fib from low to high and then look at the 786 Fibonacci? this is the last time I can say we have a last line in the sand. If we break beneath 2.5 cent, that's it for GalaGames. There is no way that you have any other last lines in the sand. The 786 is literally, I can't stress this enough, your last line in the sand. There's no data points beneath this. In fact, if we clear this up, have I detailed this in this chart over here? What I want to show you, if we take a grab of the liquidity that we're trading in right now from the swing lows all the way up to the swing highs, you can see there's been tons of liquidity, tons of volume traded within this region right here. Now, if we come over to the next chart, first of all, detailing the fact that we have no liquidity down here. So you can see when we've moved beneath this, you have knee-jerk reactions. When you move beneath this, it's like, you know, slow chop, slow chop, slow chop, slow chop, knee-jerk reactions back down to the downside. There's nothing down here. There's absolutely nothing. In fact, if we come over to the next chart, just like I talked about, where are we trading at right now? We're trading right here at 2.8 cent. How long, you know, in terms of the data points beneath us, how long have we spent trading within this region? Well, let's clear the chart up very quickly so I can just show you what I'm currently witnessing. From the swing lows of the bear market, you can see from the lows down here up until this green candle, because you can see this explosive green candle right here is, you know, one of these last data points. You know, if I look at, you know, the swing lows up to this point, we spent 10 days trading from the swing lows at 1.5 cent up until where we're trading right now at 2.8 cent. There is obviously no data traded down here. There's no volume traded down here. If I zoom out further and say, you know, what if we want to encompass all of the volume in GalaGames? Well, this is what we've done over in this chart over here. So, you know, I'm not just cherry picking this particular range from the swing lows up to the swing highs. What we've done in this chart over here is we're looking at all of the volume traded on GalaGames from, you know, back when it was listed on major exchanges like Binance, when it was listed at 2 cent. We've also looked at these charts over on KuCoin, which I believe was listed down here at 1 cent. It's the same picture throughout all of these charts. You are falling into an area right now where there's absolutely no liquidity in the market. As you can see, the major cluster of liquidity is right here, and we have lost this last line of support right now. So we've got about 9 to 10 days worth of data traded beneath us right now. Expect more knee-jerk reactions. Expect GalaGames to come down to these new lows at 1.5 to 1 cent very, very quickly. I can't emphasize this enough. If we lose 2.5 cent, that is absolutely it for GalaGames. There are no more last lines in the sand. So that's really what I wanted to update you on. I don't want to just beat the dead horse with the macro analysis we've been doing. If you've been watching the channel, all of our price targets are the same. We've got listing prices down here at 1 cent. Psychological price target is 1 cent. The Fibonacci extension is down here. The 1.618 Fibonacci is at 1 cent. There's a lot of reason that we would be magnetized to this 1 cent region. Also, if we're coming over to the oscillators, like I said at the start of the video, we're getting very, very close. I've removed the MACD from this chart now. But we're getting very, very close to that MACD cross that we talked about. Now, this is the conventional MACD that most people like to use. I also originally started off using this MACD chart over here, which is the CM Alt MACD. They're very, very similar. They're pretty much calculated the same way. However, this one is literally good across in the next week or so. Like, we're going to open next week's data point and we're going to have that bearish MACD cross. If I get rid of this MACD, like I said, just wanted to give you another alternative of the main MACD that's used on TradingView. This one is, you know, it's either going to cross bearish next week or it's going to cross bearish the week after that. Like, I think it's probably going to cross bearish next week, but if it doesn't, it will be the week after that, further allowing us to get more momentum to the downside. Let's get rid of the MACD. I just want to fly through the oscillators, really. Let's look at the OBV, on balance volume, general liquidity in the market, as we've been discussing with these volume profiles. There's no liquidity beneath us right now, and on balance volume is absolutely drying up. So all it takes is a tiny bit of volume in this illiquid market environment to have these knee-jerk reactions up, down, up, down, up, down. So when we're trading in these no liquidity areas, it's only going to take a little bit more selling pressure to absolutely launch us back down to the downside. That's the OBV. Squeeze momentum indicator, we're still in dark green. Next week, we're definitely going to be opening in red, indicative that we will be starting a new higher time frame bearish trend. Stochastic RSI, obviously cross bearish, beautifully right up here at 6.3 cent. We've been breaking down ever since. Do I have a specific chart for this? No. I don't. I did before I recorded the video. It must have reset. So I'll draw this up once again. If we look at the stochastic RSI right now, this is obviously composed of the short-term moving average, the blue line, and the long-term moving average, the orange line. If I draw a horizontal ray between these two data points, so we're looking at the average of what the stochastic RSI is right now. We're adding the short term, the long term, and we're dividing them by 2 to get the average of the two. If I come over and look back at previous data and put some vertical rays on where the stochastic RSI was trading when we were in bearish territory prior to this, you can see coming down, we had a bearish cross and we were breaking down. So obviously quite recently we've had a bearish cross and we're coming down. We had a bearish cross here, we were coming down. We had a bearish cross here, we were coming down. If we look at how much we moved down from all of these data points, bearing in mind that over on Poloniex we had a massive liquidity grab on this wick, and this is not how it was on most exchanges. On most exchanges, the low is actually right here at 1.5 cents. So do take that into consideration. What happened is we broke down about 41 or 42% to the downside on this data point before having a dead cat bounce. We had that dead cat bounce making a lower high, and then we had another bearish cross right here where the two moving averages were at, you know, the same valuation as they were at the valuation that we are right now, round about that 32 mark for the stochastic RSI, and then we proceeded to break down another 48 to 49%. So, you know, on average, we break down approximately 44% from this region. If we look at what that would mean for GalaGames, is it would mean that we'd be pretty much coming down to these new bear market lows. Now, from the rest of the oscillators that we've looked at, there's also further room to come to the downside from there. And looking at our price targets, as we've been discussing, we've got Bart pattern price targets down here at 1.5 cents, psychological price targets down here at 1 cent, listing prices, Fibonacci extensions at 1 cent down to 0.004 cent. That's really what I want to update. You know, the Elliott wave theory is unchanged. We still believe we're in the last leg of this WXY double free structure. You can see we've had that beautiful A, B. I think the C wave is going to come down to 1 cent. Gala BTC, not really much to update. As you can see, almost every day we're making new bear market lows. The last time we talked about this, we were letting you know it's a 15% drop down to new bear market lows. It's now only about a 10% drop, and in fact, I've actually drawn this a little bit too low. So it's about an 8.5% drop down to new bear market lows. That's really what I want to update you on for GalaGames. Also, do bear in mind, by the time I upload this, it's going to be about 20 minutes to half an hour until the next CPI meeting. Actually, probably by the time I edit this, the CPI will probably be coming out like as you're watching this. So make sure to come and follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy, where I will detail the CPI numbers. I did also just share some economic data and S&P 500 charts from my Bloomberg terminal over on my Twitter. So like I said, if you watch GalaGames YouTubers and you're interested in the GalaGames price, it's also interesting to know what's happening in the S&P 500, where the S&P 500 should be going, where the equity market should be going, because these are, of course, leading indicators for the crypto market. So like I said, if you want a detailed picture of what's happening in the greater economy, follow me over on Twitter, watch the rest of my YouTube videos. For today, my friends, that's all I've got. If you're enjoying my GalaGames analysis, if you're enjoying the calls that we've been making on this channel, letting you know that GalaGames is going to break down and that save you some money, let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment, share the videos with your friends. If you want to further support the channel, feel free to click the join button and become a member today. Follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy. I'll leave it here. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out. Peace.